And welcome to part 203 of the Control Aggro Midrange videos. Today we're going to be talking about midrange. Midrange is the most common form of draft deck that you're going to come across. This is because whenever you're picking rares or uncommons, you're typically picking from power level and not really picking or considering curve consideration. And with no exception, we're going to take a removal spell, premium removal spell at that. First pick one, pack one. Slightly slaying us into red, but we're still going to stay open. Remember, staying open is important. We are going to be looking for a red card, but we aren't going to force red by taking a underpower red card over something that might be better. And in this case, we've just passed another very good uncommon, in which we are going to take. Now remember, the difference between what we're doing now and what we were doing in the aggro video is we are taking cards based on power level instead of mana cost, which is generally the better idea, better strategy. Going into pack one than it is going pure aggression. So with that third pick, having picked red card, green card, and then green red card, it's pretty safe to say that even if we pick up another uh green or red uncommon, which we most likely are with Van with the 6/7 here in this pack, and there's also Roots Uprising. We're definitely going to be green red in this pack. This is one of those cases where uh you just get hit in the head at the beginning with so many cards from the colors you choose that it's very easy to find the open colors, or the colors at least you want to be. Now, uh, oh yeah, Royal Treatment is perfect for like a control mid-range deck. It allows you to leave open very easily and just get a very nice turn where you leave it up, leave 1 mana up, and allows you to counter your opponent's 5 mana removal spell, 4 mana removal spell. So yeah, this deck ended up being one of those really easy, straightforward, very clearly easy to see that my colors are open. Now, let's talk a little bit more about midrange. Midrange is good against aggro because midrange decks typically are slightly bigger than aggro. They still there's two forms of midrange decks you can draft. There's the slanted aggro version, and then there's the slanted control version. The slanted aggro version will play more 2-drops. The slanted midrange version will play more 3 and 4-drops as compared to the other midrange version. And it all depends on what kind of removal you have. Ooh, and we get a really nice rare in pack 2 here. This was a very easy draft. Very solid start. Very solid start to pack 2. The thing about mid-range is it typically loses against control because the decks that can go a little bit bigger than the other decks typically will have an advantage over smaller decks. But that's why I like aggro beats control decks, because their aggro is so low to the ground that it is able to slip underneath control decks and finish the game before they are able to stabilize. Now, depending on what kind of mid-range deck will determine on what kind of removal you want. If you want more 2-drop removal to deal with early creatures, then you're going to be probably more of a control mid-range deck. If you have more high-end removal, like uh, the 5-mana black removal, or cotton, you're gonna be slanted more on the aggro version of a mid-range deck. Like I said, mid-range decks can either focus their attention on their 3 and 4 mana slot, but their primarily goal is to be able to stop the aggression from 2 drops or 1 drops or from their opponent when on the draw. So cheap removal in that situation is very important. So if you see here, this deck is primarily focused on still having a good curve, 2s and the 3 drops. The difference between this deck and what we were doing in the aggro video. Ooh, another royal treatment. But the 2 drop is also really good with 4 power stuff, which we are going for the theme of 4 power. So we end up taking that. The difference between mid-range and aggro is mid-range decks aren't really going to play combat tricks that aggro needs to push the aggression through. Combat tricks are the kind of card that can be high reward if you can deploy them early enough. Before your opponent can get too many creatures to play around combat tricks, etc., etc. They're high risk, high reward cards that mid-range decks don't need to play because mid-range decks are going to play higher end creatures, which typically can attack through attack. High mid-range creatures can typically attack and barge without any help, and that's the biggest difference between mid-range decks and aggro decks. So a weakness of mid-range decks is they need to hit their lands 4, 5, and 6. Whereas aggro, you only need to hit lands 3 and 4. Mid-range decks need to hit more land drops, so they need to play a little bit more lands than aggro, and they need have the chance to flood out a little bit more. If they're punished by missing land drops more, but the trade-off is they are playing more powerful cards and they are playing more expensive cards. And at the end of this pack, we have enough flareables. We're gonna play 23 spells, 17 land. Um, Sometimes your mid-range decks can be low enough curve. Like if you play just enough 2 and 3s and 4s, you might sometimes be able to get away with 16 land. And we do have 3 Torch the Tower, so we do passively consider playing 16 land in this deck. But this deck came together really nicely. 3 Torch the Towers, a really nice Salad Creature curve, some strong things. And let's jump into some of the games. Game 1, we see a very nice opener. 3 land, both colors. Still very important. And we also have 3 drop another 3 drop, which I would prefer to play on 4 mana, so I can get the hero roll token. But we have 2 creatures that are both good, and we have removal spells. I would always keep this hand. I would never consider mulliganing it. Lookout is also going to be really good with both my Mary Bards and my Curse the Werefox making roll tokens. And if my opponent has no way to deal with this, we can start getting some card advantage and start dealing with their threats. We also leave up royal treatment here, which is very good. We have a lot of options for our next place. So here I go for takedown and their looter. They have a spell setter which resolves. And then we can go for up the beanstalk, draw some cards. Right. This game, they have a lot of fairies. Gonna be drawing a lot of cards with that. Still hit for 3, play a reach, draw a card, pass, leaving up royal treatment. Now they don't really have attacks, and if they go for a removal spell, I have protection. Ego drain. Okay, well, there goes royal treatment. I could cast it to draw a card. I don't see really a point in doing that. Well, play another reach. Pass. Hopeless Nightmare. Alright, discard land. Sleight of hand. Okay. I'm gonna go for Torch the Tower sacking. Make sure does 3 damage instead of 2. And then they have the ice out. Okay. Play that, play. Draw a card. Pass. And what I'm doing here is I'm making it so that both of my creatures have 5 power so it can attack through the giant. Because we're gonna get the aggression on here. Hitting for 10 this turn. Opponent plays another spell sprite, tapping my reach. That's fine. I will have another reach available next turn. And I am not even concerned about the amount of damage they can do. I'm still at 10. All of their creatures is just 1 power at the moment. And we have a torch the tower now. So here, I'm just gonna pass. Give me time to untap my grubby giant. Ego Drain, I'm just gonna cast Torch the Tower, sacking my up beanstalk. They have a bitter chill. Okay. And that's gonna not be game? Hmm. Is that enough trample damage? Yeah, we got the game. That was a long one. Here's another nice opener. Opponent is on the play though. And starting out aggressive. So we're gonna definitely focus on this game being starting off defensive, in which case I'm gonna use my 2 mana to sack my food. And the whole point going forward now is for me to try to trade resources and keep my life total as high as possible so we don't get aggroed out. I meant to keep up royal treatment, but the auto tapper made me tap incorrectly, so that could bite us in the butt. They don't have a removal spell, fortunately, so we're just gonna bargain this away, and we're gonna kill one of their monstrosities and hope to stabilize at 5. They do end up having a removal, but we're still not dead. We can trade here, and then we're gonna play our 5-mana spell. Now leave up royal treatment. They play another monstrosity and a wish's vanity. Okay. Draw, play land, play Werefax, and fight one of their monstrosities. And then we're gonna pass because we cannot leave up royal treatment. Find a ginger brute, which could be problematic. And if we don't find a way to answer that ginger brute, then we're just gonna lose. Oh, but the knight attacking with the ginger brute, that's gonna give me a way to use my royal treatment, and it's gonna buy me another turn. Now we're just gonna get aggressive here. Okay, take 1. Ooh. Put the counters on both. Just the trample. Play the Picnic Ruiner. Hit for 8. We have effectively one more turn before we die to Ginger Root. And the knight you've been attacking, letting us find torch the tower. Hit for 8. And I feel like that's all but game. Just hit for 8 trample. Trade off, play this, torch the tower on Ginger Root, and that's all the game. Ooh, here's another really nice opener. Start with 2. Playing against a possibly another aggro opponent. But they have not a 2-drop creature, so we can definitely attack here. Then on my turn, we're going to use the adventure part of Questing Druid to get some card advantage. This will also allow me to play Questing Druid early, and we can get a bunch of counters build up, hopefully. So play that. Play the coin half of Grubby Giant to get a counter, and also lets me leave up royal treatment. My opponent is looking to be slightly more aggressive with their cheap flyers, and there's no way we can block them, so we have to figure out how to race. But they're also using Collector's Vault, and ooh, they find a very nice one there. On our turn, we'll play Big Trample, leave up Royal Treatment, attack all. Ooh, they go for the black. We can get an easy Royal Treatment play. And this is looking to be shaping up pretty hard in our favor. Our opponent is missing land drops. They do have an answer for Questioning Druid, though. That's unfortunate. I think it might be a little too late. Just play enough, have for reach. They have to deal with that. That's 6 with 4 lands. Hit land number 5. And they play a Stab Wound. Does that do anything? I don't feel like that's enough. Candy Grapple. Okay. Stab Wound is going to put me to 9. Ooh, but we find a Picnic Runner. Let's go 4-2 and play it out. Hit. They are forced to jump. We're at 8, so Stab Wound might make it slightly passable for them to get out of this, but I doubt it. Because if they're not playing their cards, sure they can gain life, but they need to use their mana to gain life. And if they're using their mana to gain life, they're probably not playing anything to black with. And yeah, that's all but game. He has slightly less exciting hand, but Questing Druid is very good. 4 lands, Questing Druid gets some card advantage from it. Seems really good. So let's go Picnic Ruiner, and then we have Torch the Tower for um Archon's Glory. Okay, so just Torch the Tower that, take 3. They have okay. Let's play Bard, put the counter here, or attack. Now we have a 3-2 for their 3-3. Okay. It's temporary though, so that should be fine. Play a haste. Hit double strike, 3-3. Pass. Make that into a 4-4, okay. We do have our 4-4 that we can block with. We're gonna Johann Stopgap my Picnic Ruiner. And have a Spellbook Fender. Yeah, this is an easy trade. Draw. Let's go Questing Druid, Picnic Ruiner, counter, pass. Play the 3-4, passively make into a 4-5. Yup. Now we just play another Mary Bard. No, we're just gonna pass. Leave up removal spell plus royal treatment. Opponent 1 card in hand. We're gonna kill their Spellbook Fender. Now draw, play land. Now we can marry bards. Play land. Attack Picnic Ruiner, put a counter on with Young Hero roll. This way we can have up. Yeah, perfect. Trade there, get in some trample damage. Up the beanstalk. Draw a card. Hit for 4. Try go for that. Go for the trade. You don't need to risk our royal treatment there. Mary Bard's number 3. Now our question druid is huge and our bard is just massive. And that's game. Here's a pretty good start. Both colors of mana, 3 lands, removal spells, some creatures. Can't really ask for much more. They hit for 2, they black, we'll torch the tower. So they have a spell setter, so it's just going to torch number 2. And the reason we did that is we wanted to save the Mary Bards to use for young hero rolls and put counters on, hit for 3. Next turn we're going to do the same thing and just chain together these Mary Bards and making a bunch of big creatures with young hero rolls. Johan's tap gap. Interesting. So here we're just gonna put young hero roll here, go for graceful takedown on their flyer, have removal spell back up. And it looks like we're gonna run away with this game with all of the young hero rolls. Kind of slow, but we do have a torch to the tower. And we can play the Mary Bard on 3 if we need to. Welcome to Sweet Tooth. That's going to be a problem. I'm just going to use my mana efficiently, get out of Mary Bard. We do have the play of up the Beanstalk plus Torch the Tower if we need to. Ooh, Celebrant? Okay, so I do want to hit land drop. See if they block. Up the Beanstalk, find land, play Torch the Tower, pass, and it'll also make a food. I play a 2-3. Okay, so my turn. Make a young hero roll, play that, attack back the past the 2-3, hit into 13. Plays Crystal Grotto. And welcome to Sweet Tooth. Okay. Gains 3 from the lifelink. Play another Mary Bard. Young hero roll. Attack. Jumps with. Gets trample damage in. Try to race as much as possible. Plays Ginger Root to trigger lifelink again. I'm at 16, that's fine. We have a big attack next turn. It's Arcane Glory for more life. Okay. Oh, but we find a reach, that's good. Hit for a bunch of damage. Get you to 7, play a reach. Up the Beansack, draw a card. And just gain some life for safety. I'm gonna make a 6-7. One card in hand. I think. Ooh, Arcane's Glory. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't block. Play my stuff. Which is all we have is pass. But now they're living off the tap of their library. We just need to find one thing. Ooh, is that it? That's it. Okay. Play Lookout. Play Graceful Takedown. Take down their 6-7. Now we can attack with our 2 big things. Leave Reach back. They find a Glutton though. Oh, but we have Torch the Tower now. So we can still attack with our 6-5. I think we just kill their flyer. Second Beanstalk. Ooh, we find Trample, and then we can just attack for lethal. Yep. Last game. Hopefully, this hand is very good. Once again, we're gonna just turn 1 make food. Turn 2, we're probably gonna questing druid, find land off the tap maybe. No, we're not gonna do that this time. there's an argument for both. If you wait, you can also cast spells off the top of your library. But playing on turn 2 is, I guess, a situation where you only do that if you need to hit a land. Attacking, okay. I mean, it's just 1 damage, so I don't need a black. Curse the Werefax, okay, that would be a reason why they would attack there. Oh, and then they're making a 3/3. Okay. Draw. I guess we're gonna graceful takedown their 3/3. They have a plunge to enter, sure. Now we can just questing druid. I don't think I played a land yet. Oof. But we whiff. Okay. That's fine. Maybe we'll draw a land off the tap. There we go. Now we can questing druid, or we can play the 4/4 and fight their 1/3. Yeah, that sounds good. Next turn we can questing druid. Oh, but rough triplets. That's gonna be rough. Oh, how do I do this? Hit for 4. Hit for 5. Yeah, this game's over. Oof. Worst hand yet. Gotta take a mulligan. That's much better, but we really need to use questing druid here to get maximum value. Start with a 2-drop. Return from the wilds. Okay, hit 2. Pass. Take 1. Play Grubby Giant. No, they didn't play Garbage. Okay. Draw, play land, play Mary Bard, activate. But they have a torch. Okay. That's fine. 3 cards in hand plus a Grubby Giant over there on an adventure. Plays the Grubby Giant. I turn play land, play Questing Druid, pass. Well, attack for 3, actually. And then pass. Glutton. Okay, that's gonna be a rough. Play Werefax, play Torch the Tower, sacking the token, grow the Trusting Druid a little bit. Play Werefax, pass. Torch the Tower. Yeah, I can't stop that. They happen to bargain up, which is really not great. Oh, alright. How do we get out of this? Black, eat the two, black both. We can save our Werefax next turn. Ooh, that's a good draw. We have good blacks on the Grubby Giant now. We're at 7. Ooh. Alright. Now we just have to sack our things, kill our Werefax, and just take lethal. That was really bad. That was a really timely threaten from our opponent. Alright. Last game. See if we can pull it out. Ooh, double torch the tower hand. That seems nice. Kill the candy grapple. Oh, the monstrosity, I mean. Pass. Draw. Make the young hero roll on the Mary Bards. They have Rat Catcher Trainee. And a cut in. Okay. So now we're gonna torch the tower. No, we're just gonna play Grubby Giant. They have Candy Grapple. That's not good. Guess we play Picnic Runner. Leave Werefax to maybe eat the catcher. No, we're just gonna. Yeah, that was a better play. We're gonna kill that. But now we have to deal with a 4/5. Have another cut in. Go to 4. Yeah, this is not looking great. We can grow. Alright, so let's torch the tower here. Grow our Question Druid into a 2/2. Torch the tower on their big puff thing and then try to trade. There we go. Okay. Took care of that. Oh, okay. That's gonna do the candy and the grapple. A valiant fight, but it looks like we're ending this draft. 6-3. So as you can see with that last game, our opponent was definitely more of the bigger control deck. They had Glutton, and then they had the Mythic Planeswalker. So they were definitely bigger than us. Let's get to the next draft. Okay, pack 1. We're looking at a very perfect example of a rare that would fit in a mid-range deck. Very strong, very powerful. Archon of the Wild Rose. 4-mana 4/4 flyer, so already very good stat-wise, and she's very strong rare. Definitely a very good card. Would pretty much always take it. As a follow-up, we're looking at a pack. Second pick, we're looking at a pack that doesn't have anything that stands out, like Archon of the Wild Rose, or just like anything that would be bomb level itself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow up Archon of the Wild Rose with a very solid very playable removal spell and Cooped Up, and be very happy about it. Cooped Up is also one of those 2-drops that let you play a more mid-range deck, because Coop Up is cheap enough that you can play it on turn 2, deal with their 2-drop aggression on the if you're on the draw. And also, late game, if they have a Glutton out, it can deal with their Glutton. So it's cheap enough that it can deal with aggression, as well as deal with big bombs later on in the game. And that's why a card like Coop Up is a perfect mid-range card, or just a perfect removal spell in general for a mid-range deck. Now pack 3, we don't see a white follow-up. We're looking at a couple decent uncommons. We can go with the fancier, but we're already looking at being more of a bigger mid-range deck, so Archive Dragon could also be a option, and judging by the commons in this pack, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with one of those two. Fiancer lets me stay open in the fact that I'm taking a white card. Archive Dragon does push me into playing blue. It doesn't commit me at all. However, the power level of the Archive Dragon is higher than Fiancer, in my opinion. So I end up taking the Archive Dragon. Following up, unfortunately, we don't see any white or blue cards here, so we have to follow up with a green card. And Hallow Scavenger, which Hallow Scavenger is one of Green's better commons, so I am not too unhappy about that. But I am, unfortunately, probably not, if the rest of the pack goes this way, I unfortunately won't be able to play one of our first 3 picks, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so pick 4, we see a Hope for Vigil, which is a very good sign. We also see a Beluga Gatekeeper, Ice Out, and there is a Red Tooth Genealogist for green. But white having Light Blaze and Hope for Vigil in this pack gives me pretty solid hope that white will be open the following pack, in the following picks. Now, remember, Bitter Chill or Coral Smith. I love Coral Smith as a mid-range. I love Coral Smith in really any blue deck that requires creatures. Coral Smith, in my opinion, is one of blue's best creatures. The fact that you can trade it off in Scry is huge. The fact that you can trade up in mana by making it a 4/1 is huge. I think the card is extremely underrated. However, taking over Bitter Chill here, in hindsight, might have been a little overzealous, but I really am a big fan of Coral Smith. And mid-range decks need a big sum of creatures, and I think it wasn't unreasonable for me to take Coral Smith here. Now looking at pick 8, we can either take a blue card and Diminisher Witch. Diminisher Witch I like with Hope for Visual. Bargain away, make one of the things small. And I think is kind of undervalued in blue. The other option would be probably like a Beanstalk Worm, which is also a fine playable in green. Although we haven't really seen much green in this pack. So I think we're just going to end up taking Diminisher Witch here. And then get past another Diminisher Witch. And let's take a Aquatic Alchemist to curve out. You get, or did I take Spreading Seas? Okay, hold on. And then we take a Tempo card, pack 2, pick 1. We're mid-rangey, we can take advantage of Tempo, card draw, can take advantage of that, so that's a good pickup. And that's also going to be sadly put me into blue white midrange. Now at this point, we're just looking to fill out our curve either with removal or with bigger threats or with 4 mana cards. Something that gives us an edge over aggressive decks while being able to maintain our opponent's bombs as well. And I think Hyper Visual is the perfect pickup here. With 3 Diminisher switches, we can deal with any bombs by just sacking the visual to turn them into 1/1s. So that seems like a perfect pickup here. And then we get a easy Sleep Horse Fairy, curve out, have a cheap 3/3 for the early game. Be able to double spell is huge, especially in the early game. And just pick up another Carl Smith. Although I see picking up the Celebrant to pick up the 2 visuals, so I end up taking that instead. We just have a whole lot of value we can get from Celebrant here. And we can passively buffet this, but probably don't want to. Take a Knightly Valor. We do have a Celebrant we can pick it up with. And just end up the end of the pack, get in some filler stuff. Take a Hexproof card, which could come in handy. Ooh, but we get up a late Reindeer that will let us, whenever we play a role, we'll be able to tap something. And whenever we tap something, we can draw a card off of sheer numbing depth, so there's some synergies there. That's a good late pickup. Then we take another Carl Smith. We get some late pan. Rounding up the pack, let's see. Going to pack 3, we're just looking for more power. Our curve is perfectly fine, so we don't need to worry about that. So basically, at the end of pack 2, our curve is extremely fine. We're just basically looking for more power instead of pack 3. And we pick up a second reindeer, seems good with what we are going on with synergies and having rolls. Because when we also make a curse roll token, we can tap something else down. So it's like we're removing 2 things at once. And then if we have numbing depths out, we'll also draw a card off of that. Oh, take another Celebrant is, ooh, that's a really nice pickup. Take another removal spell. It's very nice. It's an enchantment. Goes with our what we're building towards. Ooh, do we take another Celebrant or Light Braids? This is a difficult pick. Celebrant goes extremely well with our enchantments. But Light Braids might just be the removal we need. Oh, but there's an uncommon I missed. What's it called? Gadwitch Foot's Duel could be a very handy pickup. And now we're just gonna take. No, Celebrant just has to be better in this deck than Mr. Cursed Frog over there. Yeah, we just have to take a Celebrant. It's way too good not to. And then rounding up the rest of this pack, we don't really need anything else. And this deck ended up shaping up really, really well. I am very happy with how this deck shaped up.